As far as the products themselves, you have three sets right now. Can you go into that, what the differences are, and any new products that you have beyond the Xen that are in line?
So we have the main product, which is called Xen,
Mm-hmm.
and the two products outside of that are really bundles. We include different accessories just to make everything easier to purchase all at once. But the key product is the same. The hardware is the same. So I like to say that the app is almost the second product. Now, our app is free, so we don't have a subscription model. Um, that may be something in the future that, let's say, there is some sort of a treatment option that we seek under FDA guidance or FDA clearance, then that might be something that would be separate, but you would already have the tool. It's almost like having a pill. I hate to make that correlation, but it's very familiar to all of us, right? But the inside, the ingredients of the pill change. So these electrical stimulation patterns are being studied widely by so many groups around the country, around the world. So we wanted to stay flexible. If you have hardware and you program it with exactly one electrical stimulation program, then if someone wants a new one because Stanford just discovered it, then they would have to send the product back, we reprogram it, and then they get it back. Or worse, they would have to buy a new one. So we didn't want to have to do that, which is why we have the app. So I think the app is what's going to change over time. One, becoming a little easier to use for customers, but also having the ability to either load information for a care provider, track sessions. We don't track information. We don't do any of that right now. So all the scary things that people worry about apps, we don't do that. But in the future, I can see that we'll be able to incorporate a sensor and the delivery of the stimulation to give better information maybe to a clinical provider or a coach or something like that to help people on their journey.
That's the cool thing about a lot of the technology coming out. It's dynamic, and it doesn't mean you have to constantly upgrade. I mean, it's the one funny thing about like iPhones. It's such an advanced technology, but you have to get a new one every damn year. And I think part of that is because it's a lot of money, right? Everyone dishes out 1,000 every year, basically, for like 1 megapixel better camera and like a few updates that you barely even notice the difference. Or they just slow down the old models, right, to where they don't move.
It feels like that. It does feel like that.
Oh, no, they've been sued for doing that. They're literally doing that. In Europe, they showed if a model's like 2, they actually purposefully kind of make them go slower. So it's an actual tactic.
Well, good news.
The good things, this sounds like a lot, some of the technology we also use at the clinic, like biocharger and other that have recipes that, are connected. And as they get information, the frequencies change of what can do what, they apply that. So you're doing the same thing here, which is wonderful. Has there been any pushback from anyone so far? I mean, you mentioned the FDA earlier. They're usually not fond of anything that isn't in the big pharma realm. Right. I mean, have they like sent you a warning letter yet? I mean, that's how you know you made it, by the way.
Right.
So maybe not yet. Like once you get that warning letter, it's like, oh, okay, great.
Right. Not yet. So the FDA has a guiding document, excuse me, for wellness, wellness products. So we adhere to that document very carefully. We have plenty of counsel, and we always want to do the right thing, right?
Yeah.
Now, the right thing versus fighting with a regulatory body, or those may be two different things, right? Maybe the regulatory body wants things a certain way, and we know it can be different. Then we will always advocate for what's right. But I do think in time, because there are so many medical applications, that this type of technology, maybe even ours, will be used in specific disease treatment.
Right. And so, of course, when you leave it to the wellness, that alleviates you of that treat cure, disclaimer that you must use for the FDA to be appeased. Are doctors, though, utilizing this with their patients, not saying for specific diseases, but for improvement of their patients?
Yeah, and we have some really great stories coming out of everything from integrative cardiology, so MDs who operate in that integrative medicine field, also functional neurology, functional medicine, mold treatment. These are things that I don't have experience with, right? So as an ICU nurse, I'm like, where is mold illness? You have to be really, really sick. And we give a lot of pharma. That's just all I knew how to treat. So my eyes have been opened tremendously by the creativity of practitioners out here that are trying to isolate these illnesses that are really wrecking people's quality of life. And I think I've heard you speak with Dr. Callahan, and her story, it just really resonates. So we're hearing a lot of really great stories when practitioners incorporate vagus nerve stimulation into their protocols, and they regiment whatever it is for the patients. You and I have talked about you need a certain amount of exercise, nutrition. Maybe there's spiritual healing for some folks that plays into it. Mental health, there are all kinds of components, but
Yeah.
yeah.
I feel like any integrative or functional doctor has to be aware of the vagus nerve, of course, and understanding that it's so key in this autonomic nervous system response, this balancing of everything. So if you're overlooking it, you're missing a big piece. You know, you could go after the pathogen, you could go after the symptom and everything, but there's always an underlying dysfunction. And often it's a system of the body, and sometimes that's nervous system. And the vagal nerve is so important to the functioning of that system. So I do feel that many, should be looking at devices like this. What's your kind of next steps on the company? What are you looking at? What's new and what's in development?
So like I mentioned earlier, we're working right now on the app. We have a lot of feedback from our customers. That's one thing. That's how I like to run the company, is we pay attention to the customers, find out where are the pain points, what's frustrating, what do they love, and let's take away the irritating parts, which our app is not fancy. So we're moving towards getting to where it's a pleasant experience in the app and a little more intuitive. So working on the app, and if I let you talk to my chief technology officer, he would say he's really got new headphones on the horizon that are really cool. So those maybe by the end of this year.
Are you guys partnering with Beats by Dre?
You know what? Give them a call for me, will you?
If Dre's listening right now, yeah. Get that vagal nerve model out there.
That's right.